it's Kelly with Women for One, and I'm so excited to be here today with all of you. And I want to add my dear friend and my co-creator and team member, Nirmala, so give me a minute. Let me add her. So I'd love to have Nirmala join me. And we're working on this a little bit. So hold on one second, and I will be, invite friends. Here we go, Nirmala. Nirmala, I'm not allowed to add you. I tried to invite friends to watch, but I can't. So if you could write in the box that you're here, that would be lovely. Darcy's here. Darcy, I don't know how to add Nirmala, so I think you'll have to come in here and help me. Hi, Sarah. How are you? If you could come here, Darcy, that would be great because I don't know how to add Nirmala as a person. So Sarah, welcome. I'm very excited. I don't know how many people we're going to have on today, but this is going to be recorded for the future as well, and looking forward to welcoming lots of new people into this course. There are several people that joined that do not want to do, oh, hi Diane, how are you? Darcy, if you could come here, I'd really appreciate it. I need some support. Turn my phone off, please. And then I don't know how to add Nirmala, so we have to add her. Just turn that on the left side, that'd be great. The sound. I know Nirmala's here, we just want Nirmala to be able to speak. So while we're waiting, I'm wondering if Sarah and Diane, could you just write who you are, like why you joined Truthteller in the box so we can kind of connect with you while we're doing this. Can you click on that one? Okay, I think I'm going to do this by myself because Nirmala is not able to join us today. She's here, so she can write in the box, but she cannot, we haven't quite figured out how to have Nirmala join us on this Facebook Live. This has been a little technically challenging today because Facebook was down for a few minutes right when we started. So if my technical person can figure this out in a few minutes, that'd be great, but I want to get started. So Sarah and Diane, if you're still here, I'd love to hear from you and find out from you like why you wanted to do this and any questions you have today, and then we'll just dive in because I really want to talk a little bit about why I created this Truthteller course, where it came from, and move forward from there to give you some tools and ideas about how to apply it to your life and how it will really support you. So I really am excited for everyone that has joined this new Truthteller course, because every person that joined this last launch has been so aligned with what we're about and what we're doing, and I can't wait to dive in and have you guys interact more in this group. I know Diane had said, I feel like I'm alone here, but we do have people in here, Diane. I think there's several people that don't use Facebook, and we're going to be sharing this video with all of them. So let me just start with who I am, and I would love for each of you to Diane Curtis, mom of 2 adults, 2 teens, lots of past trauma, working on my coaching, storytelling, and speaking. Before I start about myself, I can totally relate. I am, that's why I'd love for you to purchase my book, go online, Amazon, Your Messy Brilliance, 7 Tools for the Perfectly Imperfect Woman. It'll tell you my whole story, and it gives really simple tools on how to move forward in your life. I'm a mom of 6 adults now. My youngest is 18, and I have a lot of past trauma as well. And I'm still working on my coaching, storytelling, and speaking. I think it's an ongoing process. As Nirmala and I, we're co-creators together, and of this course and of my book, everything. She has just been such a part. I'm very, very sad she's not part of this today and able to speak, because she has a lot of great inputs. But if you end up having any questions, Nirmala and I will definitely both be here to answer them. And if you have any questions that you want to put in the text box or send an email, Nirmala is, I know, happy to answer them and to dive in with you, because she's just such an incredible human being and so wise beyond her years. So, okay, so going into why I actually decided to start. Oh, and yes, that's right. You read my book when it came out, Diane. So thank you. I'm excited. We have a lot in common, apparently, as moms and trauma survivors. But back to what I said. Why I decided to do this was because really this is about this course, this whole, event that we're doing, this whole launch is really about becoming more authentic and becoming who you are truly. Because, Nirmal and I were talking before the call, and we were saying how a lot of times we don't have a lot of distance from our own lives. Right now in my life, I look at it and I'm like, wow, if I had someone coaching me, if you look at how busy I am and what I'm doing, they'd be like, what are you doing? Like, slow down, simplify, get clear. So a lot of times we need to sign up for something that gives us that perspective, that gives us, that we can have the courage to really take a look at ourselves, clean off the mirror, get very transparent about where we are, so that we can attract the things we want and that we deserve in our lives. And that really is what this course is about. Whether you're starting a business, whether you want to just discover more about yourself, that is what Truthteller is about. And the reason I started it was because I had written this book, and Nirmala was my co-creator in the book as well. I had written this book, and I was at this place where I had interviewed all these powerful people and had women from over 60 countries submit stories to me. And I was like, okay, my community keeps asking me for, all to be transparent, how they can discover their truth and discover their voice. And so I'm like, I claimed my story. It's an ongoing process. As you know, right? We got to all take our time in claiming our story and really look at the different elements of the guiding story. I know some of you have looked at that in the module 1, and also why we want to do this. Like, do we want to discover joy in our lives? Do we want to move forward? Do we want to have more passion? Do we want to heal past traumas? All of these elements are what this course is about. You can, wrap your story up in a little bow and feel safe about what's happened to you. But until you really dive in, get dirty and messy about what's going on for you, and really get transparent and pull those juicy tidbits out about what you learned, what you've been through, and get transparent with yourself first and foremost, you can't help others. And you can't really have contact with others. That's the pain point for each of you. It's like, if you're still stuck in your trauma, if you're stuck in your victimhood, I was for years, and I just was so desperate to get out of it, right? And that's why I created the book, because, we do what we need to learn, right? And that's what I did. We create what we need to learn the most. And I needed to learn how to become authentic and to become a Truthteller myself. And, Nirmal and I spoke at the beginning about how this is such an ongoing process. I mean, it's so cyclical. It's not like, okay, I dealt with this issue and now I'm going to go on and be happy and joyful and live happily ever after. Like a lot of idealized images that people have, are fed from courses, from TV, from the political system, from, teachers, really, universities, schools. We're all taught that it's like from point A to point B, and then you're successful, okay? So what I'm asking each of you to do in this course is, I want you to take a very honest look at what's happened to you and the stories that you tell yourself in your brain daily about who you are, why you came to be this way, and where you want to go. Because once you get that awareness, once you get that transparency with yourself, you can access this power. I mean, I have this power that I've accessed that I've never, didn't even know existed, because I wasn't raised in a family that really taught any of us to look at the fact that we're powerful beyond measure, like Marianne Williamson says, right? You know, she's a Truthteller on my site. She talks about that. And I think a lot of us are really afraid of that power. We're terrified because we've created these constructs in our lives that have supported us not being powerful and not being real and truthful. So I really want to congratulate all of you for taking the step to be here today and taking the step to do the Truthteller course. Because when Nirmal and I created it, what we realized is we created a deep, deep dive. And I don't know if any of you feel this way. I'd love to hear from just the few people that are on here today. This course, I mean, I've had such feedback that it takes you deep quickly, and it really confronts demons that you've buried. Sorry, I just got a message that Kim is here, who is a retreat participant of mine, and she is taking Truthteller course. And it's her birthday today, so I want to say happy birthday because I want to honor every woman here. But going back to the deep dive, this course will take you places that you never even thought you had. And I'm not just saying that. It came upon Nirmal and I. We created this because we set our intention to move forward in our truth, and know that women yearn for this. They yearn to discover their voice. They yearn to discover their story and to really get transparent about how it has shaped them and the choices they've made in their lives, whether they be good or bad, to go there and really question every story they've told, we've told ourselves. So speaking of that, I'd love to hear some of your intentions for this course. I know, Nirmala, you had, one woman had emailed us about her intention. And can you put that in the notes right here so we can talk about that? And if anyone else wants to talk about what their intention is, like what they really want to get out of this course, I think that's very important for us to address. This is a big deal. You know, intentions are so powerful. It's aligning, your integrity with action. I mein, really, intentions are huge to me. And we talk about that a lot in the retreat, as Kim knows. And, Alay's here. I love Alay. Hi, Alay. There's other people that have taken this course, and I'm looking to see who else is here. Nirmala said the course might just be a few modules, but it is very comprehensive, which is why we also recommend that people commit to diving in while taking their time. You really need to go at your own pace. So when oh, good. I'm glad Kim had a patient no-show just so she could be here. So when we created this course, we were like, okay, we want this to be these 5 modules with a power pause in the middle, and we wanted it to be not evergreen. We wanted people to do it weekly. And what the feedback we got from a lot of people that took it was like, wow, I need to take this at my own pace. I mean, this is intense. So what we do now is it's an evergreen course. People can purchase it whenever they want, but we did this launch so people could kind of come together and ask questions and support one another in this Facebook group, because it is a deep dive, and women need sisterhood, and they need authentic sisterhood. And, I will say, I mean, Kim, you can probably comment on this, the sisterhood that was created at our last retreat that we had, it is powerful to have these women that support you in your grief and your growth and love you no matter where you are in this journey. And, sometimes your friends aren't those people. You have friends for different reasons. You have people in your life, you have family, but to have an intention of women coming together to support one another is so powerful and beautiful. To move, when you're all intending to move forward on a journey. So I want to pause here briefly and just see if there's, okay, so Diane wrote, My intention, let me see here. This is new for me. My intention is to embrace myself 100% and help other girls, women to do the same. I want to be what I needed when I was in my chaos. Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. I mean, I have 2 daughters. I have a stepdaughter that's 25 and my daughter's 18, almost 19. And I want to be there for all women, and I want to be there for all the women and their little girls inside of them. I mean, I'm just over 50 now, and I feel like I'm just starting to really take care of my little girl, you know, and set my intention of simplicity and power and joy in my life. And so I love, Diane, that you've been following me for years, and thank you. And thank you for sharing your intention. Kim, do you have an intention that you would like to share? Love to hear yours. No pressure, but I just was wondering if there's something. You had such. I've got to share with everyone in this group what Kim did at our retreat, because we had intentions at our retreat, and hers was, and forgive me, Kim, because I probably am not doing this right, but it was basically cutting out the bullshit in life. And I loved it. It was like, so our whole group is all about cutting out the bullshit now and really getting clarity and being real with ourselves and not accepting BS in our lives anymore. So Kim, I probably butchered that a lot, but just wonderful that because that's really what we're doing here. We're getting clear. We're cutting out the BS. We're getting transparent with our number one, which is us, so that we can be that vehicle for others in our lives, but most importantly ourselves, because this is really about finding the joy, passion, and purpose for our own lives. So, okay, I want to go, if nobody else is commenting right now, I want to go into some teaching. Nirmala, nobody else is commenting? Okay, so Erin posted about her genius. So that's great. So that's way ahead though. So we'll talk about module 2 and 3 next week. But right now we're on, setting your intention for this course. And oh no. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm like following Nirmala's comments because she's supposed to be on today. She will be on the next time, I promise. Okay, so moving forward, module 1. Very exciting stuff. I want to know how everybody's doing about the power of truth telling, because truth telling is a really powerful part of our lives. Let me see here. Let's look through this info for a second. Do not have all my info here, but that's okay. I want to talk a little bit about page 7 of module 1. Because it goes into detail about what a truth teller is, but the first soul dig of module 1 is when you get super clear about what that means to you. Like, what kind of truth teller do you want to be? And the reason we're asking you all this info is because if we're not super clear in our intention, we're going to manifest something that's just not, it's not clear. It's confusing. And if, confusion is great to grow, but when you're trying to manifest and move forward and get clarity and awareness in your life, you've got to slow down and be super clear. So that is what these soul digs are about. Soul digs are about just really stopping, taking a deep breath. Speaking of that, the feminine breath, which I know Kim knows about, and it's the most amazing, powerful thing you can do. It's not like the masculine breathing. It's very like grounding and deepening. And that is what each of us should do before we do these modules, for sure. I've done this course myself. So has Nirmala when we've created these. What you have to do is you really have to slow yourself down and slow down and really get into your feminine being and your body as you're moving through this course. So really address that feminine breath every single time you're doing anything in this course. But back to page 7 of module 1, you want to get super clear because, for example, like I've interviewed so many powerful truth tellers. Every single one of them have been so different. They've been so unusual. They've been so powerful, surprising, creative, and not one of them, it's so unique. That's what we talk about genius moving forward, discovering that unique genius. But right now, I really want to know what kind of truth teller you think you are. I'd love to see that in the comments, and I'd love to get emails about it, about what kind of truth teller you feel that you are moving forward, and coming up with some qualities for that. Coming up with, in that feminine breath, in that slowing down, what do you hear? What does your feminine being tell you you are? I know I'm a messy truth teller. I'm a little crazy. I'm fast paced, but then I can slow down and be grounded. I can multitask. I have ADD. But when I get very real, which Nirmala really helps me distill my realness a lot, when, I kind of give her all my info, we sit there and we get a lot of clarity and ahas, because I trust that I'm going to understand my truth. And I don't know if that makes sense to you, but there's this trust element that's so important in truth telling. It's just, if you don't trust that inner being that you have, that inner, as I call it, the hara line, as I've learned about that in martial arts, you've got to check in with your inner guidance and listen or feel, that kinesthetic sense. That really helps you understand what kind of truth teller you are and what kind of truth you're telling yourself. So I've gotten a couple comments here. Kim said, for sure, that kind of power has been so sustainable since the retreat, not fleeting. I like that it's not been fleeting. My intention is to tell my early story, how I allowed it to be a limiting story and how working through it has created magic. My latest question for myself has been, what are you pretending you're not good at? No longer available for bullshit. That's so awesome, because it is pretending, right, Kim? I mean, we're pretending. I love that you're asking yourself that question. And then Nirmala wrote, one of the things about truth telling is also that our truth is often hiding in plain sight. Nirmala and I had this great discussion about this, you guys. And she talked about it because, like I said before about, when we're going through a transformation, like, you keep doing that in your life. Like, the butterfly kind of contracts and then you expand. And right now, Women for One is going through a transformation again. And I'm personally going through one, and so is Nirmala. So as creative partners, sometimes we have to look at what's going on in plain sight and be those mirrors to ourselves and each other, because a lot of times you need the mirror, like the Truth Teller course, to go, oh my God, I just wrote all this out. And look at this. And you have all these ahas and this awareness that you didn't even know was going to happen. That's what she's talking about here when she wrote this. So please read Nirmala's comments here. Kelly often says, I hear, and then we'll spout some crazy wisdom. She's super connected to her inner voice and wisdom. Yes, but you kind of got to sift through my crazy messiness to listen to that wisdom sometimes, Nirmala. So, owning, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about today was shame. I really want to challenge each of you that are in this Truth Teller course to release the shame. And how I release things is I notice them when it comes up, when I have shame about anything I'm doing. When I look at it, I let it come up and I'm like, oh, there it is again. I mean, Brene Brown talks about it. There's lots of people that talk about shame. And shame really it's just an ugly enemy. It's not real. It really isn't. It's the story you're telling yourself in your head about how you aren't good enough and how you're not going to do something and how you've screwed up. And it's all the stories that you've been told by your parents, by people that don't trust you, by people that don't trust themselves, right? So when that shame comes up, I want you to own it. I want you to write about it. I want you to get very real with yourself about it and challenge yourself, because I don't want any put downs. I want us to all agree in this group, we're not going to put ourselves down. We're going to lift ourselves up in a real way. I'm not talking about pretend, lovey, like let's lift ourselves up. I'm talking about when you notice you put yourself down, when you notice that you have shame, own it. Number one, own that shame. Say, oh, there it is. Witness it. Put it right here. Put it right over here. There it is. There's that gremlin. There it is. Don't identify with it. And allow it just to be and to float away like a thought. Because it has no power over you if you can separate it from yourself. Kind of like we were talking about with getting an awareness. If you can get some distance for something, when you start noticing it, I talk about it in the book. It's called the steps of change, right? When it comes up, you notice it. Maybe step 3, you're at, oh, there it is. I'm still doing it, but I'm not as attached. And by step 5, you're not feeling the shame as much anymore. It's a beautiful thing. Shame is debilitating, and I really challenge all of us to let it go. So I'd like to have a collective, let's let shame go. Let's do it. I want to see if anybody has any questions, any comments. I know there's home play in the first module. We can talk about that if you'd like. I mean, we didn't want to call it homework, so we called it home play because there are no rules. That's what Nirmal and I do when we do retreats, when we create courses. There are no rules. This is for you to learn. This isn't more work to be made for you. This is for you to get an awareness, to empower yourself, to move forward with more joy and passion and purpose in your life. This is not about working and getting it right at all. So if you're feeling that way, call me up. I will get on the phone with you for 15 minutes and talk to you because you made this commitment to this course and I am here for you. I really want you to know that. And if you haven't gotten my book, please get it because it will tell you a lot about our philosophy at Women for One, who I am, my journey as well, so you can understand I'm a very, very flawed, imperfect person, and it will allow you to release a lot of shame as well. So anybody have any questions? Oh, Alay said, to release the shame, that was the secret of forgiving myself and accepting every scar on me, physically and psychologically. Oh, that's so beautiful. I miss you so much. It's so good to see you on here. Does anyone else have any questions? And Nirmala, would you like to add anything? I also wanted to let each of you know that we are here for you through info at Women for One. I mean it. I will totally jump on a phone call with any of you if you're feeling stuck, if you're challenged. Nirmal and I are here for you through this, and our whole team is to support you. Diane, what's the best way to deal with the judgment that may come from family while speaking our truth? Oh, I love that question. Diane, we need to go. Yeah, where are you? I want to know where Diane lives. So first of all, we talk a lot about that in module 4 and 5. So when you get there, you'll see that. But I have lots of challenges around family. I'll give you an example just so you can kind of know I'm right there with you. When I had my book come out, my mom was the only person out of 63 people, including Don Miguel Ruiz and Marianne Williamson, that wouldn't sign a release for my book. And it was because I talked about my sexual abuse. And that was really challenging considering she's a PhD psychologist. You would think that would, have that understanding of the fact that I was speaking my truth. And so what I decided after a lot of therapy and continued therapy with one of my greatest teachers, Alima, who I talk about in the book as well, is that my mom has her journey and my family has their journey. And it's so multifaceted that I don't need to throw all my truth out in front of these people. And when I need to do it, like when I do it like online and through my book and through my teachings, that's for a noble purpose, right? And so I have zero shame, zero now, Diane, zero shame. I had so much shame even after the book came out, and I felt so disappointed that I felt judged by my family for doing it. I had lots of family members judge me. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to share your truth? Why do you need to do that? I still get, think about it. I have a website where women share their truth. Every day I get asked that by people, Diane. So what I would say to you is, you make a choice and have discernment on when you share things. And when you address that shame inside of you, when you feel judged, you want to turn it back on yourself and say, you know, what is in it me that's not resolved? What is it in me that I'm self-judging? Because it really, you know, it really, if it affects you, then you just want to look at it as a lesson. That's the way I look at it. Like I look at, you know, when I feel judged and when I have stuff come up in me, as a lesson on how I need to either have boundaries about what I'm sharing, because sometimes we don't need to share everything. We really don't. You know, when we're one-on-one at a Thanksgiving dinner table, why do we need to make our point? Like I ask myself, like right now, what will serve me when I'm sharing my truth, right? And if I'm sharing my truth to support someone else, you know, in a group like this or on a book or when I'm speaking or when I'm at a retreat, that's a big deal. That's like a no-brainer. When I'm at a dinner table with my family and they can't handle it, I'm going to make a powerful choice to not share it because I don't need to. I don't need their validation. I don't need their support because I have it from everyone else. You know, I have it from myself more importantly. And I have it when I say everyone else in my life that I've chosen to have in my life that truly supports me and loves me. And a lot of times with family, we don't have that. And you know, the healing comes when we realize we don't need it. Because I don't need it from my mom. I don't need it from my family. And things, you know, it's so interesting you talking about this right now because today I had this conversation with my aunt who has been like a mom to me for years, but still to this day doesn't understand why I have Women for One. She's always like, why do you do that? Like, what's the point? And I don't even take it personally anymore because that's her journey. This is my journey. And I don't need her to accept me or judge me to feel powerful and to heal myself. And I can still love her because she's given me so many things. So it's all about percentages and it's all about, what's the word? It's all about just accepting who you are fully with no apologies, Diane. That's kind of where I am. And I mean, I'm still working it. Sometimes it's hard. You know, when my crazy racist uncle will send me messages, like, that's still hard to deal with. You know, what are you doing, Kelly? You're one of those women that's, you know, trying to, you know, push down men. I'm just like, oh my goodness. Like, so it's better to be light about it, support yourself. And so there's two things, discernment and making a choice to not care. Because there's a great teacher told me one day, don't cast your pearls before swine. You do not need to share all your truth with your family or people that judge you until you're ready, until you're solid enough in yourself and what you've gone through and what you've processed that you truly do not give a shit. And until then, I would just let it go and share with who you feel safe with until you get to the space where it's like, you know what? I don't really care what you think. And that takes a long time sometimes. And I'm still working it, Diane. So I don't know if that rambling helped you at all because that's where I am right now with my family and speaking my truth. But I don't feel the need to speak my truth as much anymore at all. I do it when I'm ready. Anyone else have any questions? Nirmala, do you have anything to add to that? Oh yeah, I also agree with Kelly regarding discernment when it comes to sharing. It's okay. Yes, the baby steps is big and it does require courage to truth tell. And the more you do it, the more you build your courage muscle. Yeah, I say that a lot in the book. We talk about that courage muscle. But I also think there's times where we can make the choice that we don't have to. And Nirmala is saying judgment is often one of the biggest obstacles to sharing our truth, and it's not an easy one to get through. But like I didn't even read these, and Nirmala and I are right on the same page. It's also important to make sure that you have a supportive community that remind you that you're not alone, and that's what this is. We are here to support you. You are not alone. There are so many women and men, human beings, yearning to speak their truth out there. So let's all support one another in speaking our truth and make a choice to not speak our truth with people that are going to judge us. And on that note, I know I shouldn't go there, Nirmala, but I'm going to. I really want to talk a little bit, just for a few minutes, about this whole flag waving thing that people get on, where they get on a bandwagon and they have to get people to agree with them. That's that same place. That's people being out of their power, going into judgment themselves on others. Okay. So there's this balance, I think, like, for example, the political scene right now, where you can get on your bandwagon and believe you're right? But that's not the feminine way. The feminine way is to speak your truth unapologetically, right? And sit with it and allow, what's going to happen to evolve. People are going to attack you. Try as best you can to not be as phased, to really stand in your power, but not trying to convince everybody to come over to your side, because there are no sides. There are no sides. It is just the way it is. We've got people out there that are doing horrific things, saying horrific things, right? But if we are going to buy into that system of the belief system of there are victims and perpetrators, and I'm right, they're wrong, we're never going to bridge that communication gap, and we're never going to come to an understanding. And I deeply believe that, and I think that really is about truth telling as well. And Nirmala, I would love to hear your thoughts on that. What are you concerned about your kids with, Diane? Your kids judge you? I wish you could come on live. We'll figure that out for next time. And maybe we do this as Zoom calls inside the Facebook group, so we're all talking. I think that might be a nice thing. If everybody wants to kind of vote for that, we could do that as well for these Facebook Lives. We could do a Zoom call where people actually talk, and we can post it inside the Facebook group. Diane, if you want to share that on a personal email, I'm happy to talk with you or find out what you're concerned about, because I know I've had a lot of judgment with my kids as well. So I'd love to hear where you are with that. But thank you for that question. It's really important to talk about that. Speaking your truth and judgment, for sure. Nirmala, do you have anything else you want to say before we kind of wrap this up? I really wanted to make sure we covered what is truth telling, did they set an intention, and how this is going to work in the future. This is your group, and we can create a group that's Zoom so people can interact and speak. So we're verbally interacting once a month. I almost feel like that would be a better way than doing it this way, to be honest. And I just want you to get everything you need out of this course. I mean, it's really important to me. It's changed my life, and we are here for you at Women for One, and we want you to succeed at what you're doing and to clear away the BS, as Kim would say, and move forward in your life. So I'm really honored to have spoken to all of you today. And then Nirmala said, I think that when we truth tell, we have to let go of our agendas. We share the truth simply because we know that it's the most potent tool for transformation. I love that. Truth telling is the most potent tool for transformation. So this whole course is going to peel the layers away for you to understand what truth telling is for you and how you can become the most powerful, transparent, and clear truth teller to yourself and others, so that you can move forward in life with that inner power. That place where you see when you meet a woman or you meet anyone, that you can see that they're very clear about what their integrity is, who they are. And when they speak, they think about it. They don't just vomit. They really have thought and had discernment about what they're sharing, especially when it's an important subject. So I just send all my love to you, and so does Nirmala, and I cannot wait for the next time. And I look forward to speaking with you. If you need to talk to me, I will make time for you. And I'm just sending you all my love, and so impressed that you dove in and decided to do this. So please don't hesitate to contact my team if you need anything. And me personally, we are here for you, and we're sending you so much love. Bye, everyone.